Hi, Dr. Barrett. It's so nice to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I am doing marvelously well and improving, Ambassador Elisha. How are you?
I'm doing fine as well. And you see, Dr. Barrett, thank you so very much for honoring the invite. It means a whole lot. Thank you.
Means a lot to be
And
invited.
yeah, beautiful. And you see, Dr. Barrett, I am quite excited to have you on the show for some reasons. All right. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking, because I believe in order to transition from a chaotic situation to that of a beautiful one, it takes the application of knowledge, quality information. And you see,
Correct.
Dr. Barrett, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. And that's going to
Amen.
make our conversation here today very important to me and even to the audience. So, the second reason now is for the sake of the listeners. You know, I believe there are some things that Dr. Barrett knows that some of the listeners needs to hear you say these stuff, directly from your mouth in order for them to experience transformation and get unstuck. I firmly believe that. And
Sure.
lastly, that is me again. I am convinced I'm definitely going to learn one or two things from you, your story, your insight, your experiences. So, for that reason, Dr. Barrett, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about
Sure.
your journey, how you got here. Then, afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Dr. Barrett, over to you.
All right. I'm not going to take up too much time with that. Um, I am Dr. Barrett Matthews. I'm originally from Maryland. I'm one of our four children with my parents, who I'm proud to say have been married for 70 years now. And I grew up, and I knew I wanted to do something different. I knew I was just meant to be not following what the crowd wanted me to do. So after college, I went into the media because it was something I majored in school, and it was just easy for me to do. I enjoyed it. So I ended up getting a job at a local TV station in Washington, D.C. as an assistant director there. I then moved up to New York, where I worked for the network for CBS Sports, and had some good times, some bad times in media, and I got out of it eventually and ended up working in the business sector, working for myself as an independent contractor on a lot of things. I got into real estate appraisal as well, and God had a path for me. I don't. He led me to Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't know why at the time, but it taught me some lessons. Then I moved back to Maryland, and I ended up working and still for myself, but I ended up finding some people that led me to another path, and it eventually led me back to working in media. Well, because of the work that I was doing in media, but this time on my own, not working for corporations, I was able to help other entrepreneurs to move their business further by using media. That led me to a relationship with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Clyde Rivers, who ran an organization called I Change Nations. And he saw what I was doing and helping other people. He wanted to work with me, and he actually named me a World Civility Ambassador with his organization, I Change Nations, where they promote civility all around the world. He was also named a king in a region of Africa, and he named me one of his royal advisors as well. And because of my work with him, I was given the United States Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for some of the work I've done. So what I still am doing is working with him and some other people around the world to bring about civility and to help people to find their own voice by using media as well, because the whole thing is to make the world a better place and to get people to understand to walk with God and not think about what man wants. And that's what I want to do.
Oh man, very, very, very interesting. You know,
Thank you.
it was as though you shouldn't stop talking. Oh man, I love that. I love that. You see the part where
I
you
think you
mentioned
spoke
that.
very well.
The part where you mentioned that the aim is just to make the world a better place. That's
Hmm.
an amazing statement. And you see, I truly love to listen to people like you speak because of the truth that I know that I'm definitely going to benefit from your insight. And that is
Oh, thank
happening already. And one other thing I learned from your story is once the motive is clear, which is you were doing what you were doing to help people, it will definitely attract some other people who would find you interesting to be
Mm-hmm.
around them. And just like you mentioned, the man now and all of that. And that's really good. Dr. Barrett, I love that. So that's
Me too.
gonna lead to the very first question, all right? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Okay. So so can you talk to us about the difference between a media personality and a media boss?
Sure. It's real simple. Here's a name that from West Africa to the United States, anywhere in the world, everyone knows the name Oprah Winfrey. When Oprah started out, she was a TV reporter. She was a news reporter. She was an anchor. Then she had her own show. The Oprah Winfrey Show was a talk show where she was interviewing people and so forth. She was a TV personality. She was a media personality at that point. Now, Oprah owns the studio. She owns a TV studio. She owns magazines. She owns film studios. She is in control of her media. She is now a media boss. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I don't have Oprah's money. I can't be a media boss. That's not true. Media is so accessible now to people because we can do things on our cell phones. We can do things on our laptops right now because you can control your own media. And when you can control your own media, that's what I call a media boss. When you can control it, when you're depending on someone else to put your name out there, when you need someone else to call you up to interview you or call you up to do something, you don't control it. When you can control your own media, then you are what I call a media boss.
Amazing. Wow. I never knew though. I got that now. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now for someone who says, hey, Dr. Barrett, you see, how can I separate myself mm, from the rest in my field? I just want to be different from them. What would your response be?
That you already are different. You already are different. They're not you. You're not them. And it's a matter of we have to get out of the comparison mindset because understand this. The scripture says that God gave us all unique abilities to be done in his mindset, in his frame, in his work. So if you already have a unique ability given to you from God, that means nobody else is you. And if nobody else is you, that means nobody else can do like you, nobody else can be like you. And one of the things that a lot of us tend to do, Elisha, is we try to compare ourselves to other people and we can compare our blessings to theirs. So if someone gets something and it goes great, they get a great contract and something goes well for them, we get all sad and depressed thinking, well, why is it not happening to me? Because it was not for you. It was not your blessing. You have your own blessing. You don't know what that blessing comes with in relation to that other person. It may come with some stuff that you don't want. So understand that your blessings are unique. You already are different. Your audience is going to be attracted to you. My audience is attracted to me. I cannot compare what we have because there are two different things. I'm a different person than you. I offer different things. We speak differently. We walk differently. We talk differently. We look differently. We are different. So you already have separated yourself. The question is, what are you going to do to elevate yourself? That's for you to decide.
Hmm, I got that. Because we all have unique gift. And this
Mm-hmm.
gift now makes us so important that even others will need us. And that's how it is equally. I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let us talk about podcasting, all right? Is
Sure.
podcasting where people should start?
I think so. And when I say that, it's because I believe everybody should have a presence on various forms of media: podcasting, film, TV, books, blogs, all types of social media. You should have a presence on all of them. Now, why do I say yes, you should start with podcasting? Because podcasting is the easiest for you to do. For instance, right now, I can guarantee you that we could pick a subject that you love and you could talk about it all day long. Well, if you can talk about it, then if you hit record, guess what? You've got yourself a podcast. If I said for you to write a page or a couple of pages on that subject, now you have to think about what you're going to write. You have to figure out, okay, am I using the words? If I told you to put it on social media, you just have to think about what you're going to write. Is this okay for me to say, so forth? When you're talking, you just talk. And if you just hit record on it, you can have yourself a podcast. It's easier for you to talk about something than you love than to sit and think about what you have to say. That's why I say podcasting is a way to start. Now, with that podcast, you can do so many variations of it. You can put a camera there, and now you have video and audio. You can cut it into shorts and edit it. Now you have social media content to put up on YouTube. You can actually take screenshots and put it up on social media. You can transcribe it and put in a written word and make blogs or make ebooks out of it. You can do so many things out of that, just one podcast, whereas it's harder to do a podcast out of some of the other things.
Amazing. I got that. I got that. So let us talk about finding client. All right. Do you think media is the best way to find clients?
Well, it's one of them. I mean, of course, referrals are always the best way, because if someone has already knows you and have done business with you and can just say, here, talk to this person, that is always a great way to have a client. But media is great for you to get the exposure, to get the eyeballs on you so that you can get clients, because every one of us, all of us, like we're here today, every one of us we get information through one form of media or another. We use media for something in our lives. So the thing is, which media is your client looking at? Well, we don't know. We don't know. I tell people this because if we say, oh, well, I'm doing a podcast and I'm doing a podcast only, that is to say that all the people that you serve listen to podcasts. Now, we know that's not true. Some of them may read books. Some of them may watch film, whatever. But everyone gets their information through some form of media, but we can't assume that they all are on podcasts. So, which is why I say you should have a media presence on various platforms. But media is the way to go, because they're going to be looking at some form of media, and you need to be there.
Very, very insightful. I got that. So for someone, curious about if he can actually earn money from all form of media, what would your response be to such person? He's asking, can I earn money from all forms of media?
Yes, you can earn money from anything that you do well and and you provide something that someone needs. It's really that simple, and it's that complicated at the same time. But what I mean by that is that a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to start a podcast because I want to make money. Wrong. You need to have a plan as to how you're going to make money before you start that podcast. Because there's a myth out there, and I don't know if it's a myth or just some people have been misinformed, but people think, oh, podcasts are a great moneymaker. No, not really. Most people that have a podcast don't make a dime. Most people that do it
That's
don't
right.
have it. Yeah, you know that. And most people don't make a dime. It's not now, can you use it as a tool to generate clients? Yes, you can. You can do giveaways. You can do events on your podcast where it brings in money. You can promote things. You can sell things. You can sell your own products. You can sell services. You can have guests on and have them sell, and you can be an affiliate for them. There are a lot of different ways. You can get sponsors. You can get partners. There's so many ways that you can actually do that. That's what's podcast. With books, you can sell your books. Of course, makes sense. You write a book, you sell the book, you can make money. That's media. You can do the same thing with film. You can distribute films, or you can have what they call product placement, where someone places their product in your film and they pay you for that. It's a lot of different things you can do with media. But the thing is, to think that you're going to make money just because you have media, no, that's wrong. But can you make money by using media? Absolutely.
I got that. Okay. So you mentioned being everywhere at once. Is it really possible?
Yes, with media, absolutely. You can, because look at it like this. You're familiar with, and this is a perfect example. You know the comedian Kevin Hart, correct?
Correct, correct.
Okay, so Kevin Hart does not live in West Africa. Kevin Hart lives in Los Angeles, California, but he is known all over the world. Now,
That's
Kevin
right.
Hart Kevin Hart is in feature films. Kevin Hart has documentaries. Kevin Hart has done comedy series on Netflix and all different streaming channels. Kevin Hart has a podcast, two of them at least. Kevin Hart has written books. Kevin Hart has done audio books. Kevin Hart has done a lot of different things in media, all at the same time. You can look them up on all these things and still find him. That could be you. You could do the same thing. But here's the one thing I want you to understand. Kevin didn't do that by accident. He planned that he wanted to be on various platforms so that you can't miss him no matter where you are. He made it a point to put himself everywhere, all at the same time. If you make that choice yourself and decide, I'm going to have a platform here, I'm going to have a platform there, I'm going to have a platform there, and you can be everywhere all at once yourself. That way, when you're out there marketing what you do, nobody can miss you because you are right in their face no matter what they're doing.
Great tactics. I got that. I got that. So, to bring this to an end, Dr. Barrett, what would you like to leave the audience with, like a final thought? And to those ones who would like to reach out to you, learn more about what you do, you've said some amazing stuffs ever since you started talking. Let's say to some now it resonated so well and they would love to learn more. How can that be possible?
Sure, no problem. One, I would say to the audience, if you have a business, you need to make sure that more people see you. You need to be more visible. I don't care what you're doing. You need to be more visible. So with that being the case, you need to use media to do so. And the recommendation I have for you is to start today. Stop procrastinating, because I know I'm talking to somebody right now who has said for the longest time that I'm going to start doing this, I'm going to start doing that as related to media, but you haven't done anything yet. Start today. That's the first thing I'll tell you. Now, if you want to get in contact with me, what I'm going to do for your audience, if they'd like to have a complimentary consultation about media and see if I can help them with it, I'm going to just recommend that they go to my website. It's www.mediabosspro.com, mediabosspro.com, and schedule a time with me and let's talk about it. Let's see if we can help you. Also, you can go find me on LinkedIn as well and on Facebook and on Instagram at podcast with a K, podcast_nation. Just go to podcast_nation on Instagram. You can find me there as well. But reach out to me. Let's see if we can help you with it. I produce podcasts for people. I produce all types of media all over the world. So it doesn't matter where you're located. We can help you with that. So I would say just get started today. If you want to talk to me, let's make it happen.
Beautiful. Just get started today. Just get started today. Amazing. I love that. So that's going to be the end of the show, Dr. Barrett. Thank you for coming. Thank you for blessing us with so much amazing words. It means a whole lot. I would have to listen to our conversation again and again because you said some really amazing stuff here. Thank you so very much.
Appreciate you so much. You're so kind.